Years, he continued the tradition started by Clint Buhlman of providing music, time, temperature, weather, school closings, and traffic information.
WBEN's weather fact says heavy snow this morning.
I gotta get to the station.
Plus,
Morning Man Bill Lacy is learning firsthand about weather facts from 9:30 WBEN.
I don't believe this.
With the latest traffic
the
conditions,
skyway is closed in both directions.
official school and business closings,
Rescue dog closed for business today.
You too? I don't believe this.
and Buffalo's exclusive weather facts forecast.
Even a chance of lightning, believe it or not.
No. Yes.
News 9:30 WBEN.
Bill Lacy on the Good Morning Show.
Believe it.
When WBEN ceased playing music in the mid-1990s, Bill was joined by Kevin Keenan on the morning show, providing listeners information and news interviews. In August 2000, WBEN parted company with Lacy in favor of the current all-news approach in the morning. In spring 2001, he was hired as morning host at WHTT. Bill Lacy and WHTT's current classic hits format are a big hit with Buffalo radio listeners. After completing a 6-month course at the Contemporary Institute of Broadcasting in 1970, Lacy landed his first job at WBUF, then part of the Empire State FM network. Between 1972 and 75, Bill spent time on Interstate 90, moving between jobs in Bradford and Erie, PA, Dunkirk, Jamestown, and Rochester, New York, before leaving Erie again for Buffalo and WBEN. The rest, as they say, is history.
Bill and I got along real well together. We played baseball together, some racquetball too. But the thing that I remember, the incident that I remember, was a trip that we both made to Bermuda. This was a junket that Larry Levitt had arranged for a sales promotion. We took a whole bunch of clients down to Bermuda, and Bill was along to do his show right there in the Marriott Hotel. Now, the problem that we ran into was that Bill is not a comfortable flyer. How can I put this? What's the word? He was terrified of flying, I guess is the word. Nonetheless, we got him on the airplane somehow to Baltimore, and then on another airplane to Bermuda. By the time he landed in Bermuda, he was as pale as a ghost, although he sort of loosened up right after we got there, knowing that he was on solid ground again. But I thought, well, that's good. We got him here. We can have a nice week, and then we'll worry about taking him back later. We did have a nice week. I don't know what it was that actually got Bill to Bermuda on an airplane. Maybe it was the lure of the pink sand beaches or the blue-green water, or maybe it was the idea of the rum swizzles and the dark and stormies. Whatever it was, he got there and enjoyed it and did a real good job on the air, as always. Came time to leave. Came time to come back home. What to do? We went to the airport. Bill was again kind of getting gray and kind of pale. My wife and I, Roseanne and I, and Pat, Bill's wife, and he, went to the lounge at the airport to kill time. We had about an hour before the plane left. Bill had a beer, so I had a beer. Bill had another beer, so I had another beer. Well, it was enough to at least get him on the airplane. We got on the airplane and took off, and when we got to altitude, they started the beverage service. I bought 2 for myself. It's a 2-hour flight. And I immediately paid for and sent 2 beers up to to seat 10C, where Bill was sitting. Bill drank those 2 beers, and when the service finally got to his seat, he bought 2 more. We landed in Baltimore with Bill being a little more happy than he was when we got on in Bermuda. We had some time to kill before the flight to Buffalo, so we went to a lounge at the Baltimore airport, and there we sat while Bill ordered 2 more beers. So by the time we got on the plane for Buffalo, Bill was pretty mellow. And he turned to me and he said, you know, I think I could fly this thing. Just in case it became necessary, Bill had another beer on the flight to Buffalo. We landed in Buffalo. We went down to the baggage claim. Bill had by this time, by my count, 9 beers. But it worked. In his humanitarian way, Bill never patented, trademarked, or copyrighted this discovery of his. So there it is today for anyone to duplicate. If you have a fear of flying, 9 beers will get you almost anywhere. Bill, getting serious, I liked you from the start. I liked your performance. I liked the way you sounded. I liked your wit. He's really a very, very funny guy. He's had a good career, and it's ongoing for right now. Bill, welcome to the Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame. You belong here.
WBEN puts more into your radio. Good morning from Bill Lacy.
Green grass at home, and mine's getting pretty long again. I'm not going to cut it. Too wet today, though. That's another excuse. It's 26 after 6 at WBEN. Slipping down the Carefree Highway with Gordon Lightfoot. Make sure you're careful out there this morning. Maybe some standing water in some places. 29 minutes after 6 o'clock at WBEN. News headlines coming up next.
We're proud to induct Bill Lacy into the Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame class of 2014.
Of course, I don't drink any less. That's called liquid courage. Got the band back together again. All right. Well, thanks very much, and congratulations to Don and Susan and Tony and Chris and Jack. Nobody talked faster than Jack Armstrong. I once tried and I sprained my tongue. He was incredible. What a great talent, too. When I first heard about this, I thought it was really nice, and I thought I'd give these people a little time to sober up and come to their senses and realize their mistake, but here we are tonight. So, that's great. Oh, yeah. And the Bills are going to stay in Buffalo. I Googled Hall of Fame searches. I got Andre Reed. What can I say? I'm a little lazy. It worked very well for him. This is my 30th year in morning radio in Buffalo. I always wanted to be the guy on the radio. My parents would be out in the kitchen listening to Clint Buellman, and I'd be back in the bedroom, and I'd be listening to Danny Neverth, or I'd be listening to Stan Roberts or Jungle J. Nelson. And they always sounded like they were having such a ball. And it is. It's a ball. My dad was a plumbing contractor, and both my brothers followed him into the business. And I didn't want anything to do with it. And I think probably now, as I look back, as a father, he was probably disappointed that one of his sons didn't want to come into a business that he made so successful. But he never showed it, and he paid my tuition to the Contemporary Institute of Broadcasting. You saw that sign? Radio is big money. Anyway, I went there and moved on from there. It was the Contemporary Institute of Broadcasting was 464 Franklin Street, which became a famous address where WGR was for years, and later WHTT as well. So my mom and dad both passed within 6 months of each other in 1990, but they had enough opportunity to hear me on their favorite radio station. I was there for a number of years, so they did have a chance to hear me. I think my dad thought I was just keeping the seat warm for Clint Buellman when he returned, but I couldn't have asked for better parents. I've had two great Buffalo radio jobs. The first came in 1980 when I was working in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I was leaving the station listening to Buffalo radio one morning, and I heard Bob Wood saying goodbye to George Hamburger. George was off to a job in Toronto. So I figured, well, I'll send the tape. And I did, and a few months later, Bob hired me. And here I am. I walk into this radio station. I'm in my 20s, and it's loaded with mega talent, legends. Jeff Kay is there, and not only Jeff, but the whole building. Stan Barron, Lou Douglas, Jim McLaughlin, Van Miller, Carol Chrissy at the time is in the radio, is at the TV station. Bob Coop, legends in this building. But I have to tell you, I wasn't intimidated, and I felt maybe a little bit cocky. I mentioned my father was a plumbing contractor. When WBEN Radio and TV decided to build that building on Elmwood Avenue, my father was the plumbing contractor. So if it hadn't been for my family, those people would have had to go home and go to the bathroom. So they didn't intimidate me. It was Bob Wood and Larry Levitt and General Manager Tommy Van Nortwick who really helped me to get my act together in so many ways over a number of years, and I am forever indebted to those guys. I followed Jeff Kay in middays, and what a treat that was. I grew up listening to Jeff, and I would come in early. I come in the station an hour early just in the guise of hanging out in the studio to watch him work and to talk with him. He was a great talent, and what a voice, the voice of God, and he was so good to me. He really helped me fit into that radio station. Had a couple of great on-air partners over the years, too. Gail Ann Huber and I worked the morning show for a few years at WHTT. We had a lot of laughs and good times together, and Gail is here tonight. Would you say hello to Gail? She's right back there. She's waiting. And Kevin Keenan and I teamed up at WBEN, and Kevin is here tonight, too. Kevin, say hello. Kevin became the first communications director for the Diocese of Buffalo. He was the first non-priest to hold that job. when he left broadcasting. And in that time that he was there, both Bishop Mansell left, he went to Hartford, and Bishop Kemp retired. When they both left, I sent him a resume each time, and I never heard a word back from him. I could have been the first bishop with a morning radio show, but it didn't work out. My second great job in Buffalo radio was WHTT, where I will be in just a few short hours. So I'm as anxious to get the hell out of here as you are, too. So give me one more minute. Bill Sauer, John Hager gave me that opportunity back in 2002. And I'm doing exactly what I loved about radio in the first place. I'm playing great music, and I get to comment on the passing scene of life. So I'm having a ball. I'm also working for a great programmer, too, Joe Saragusa. Joe is a great programmer, but aggravates the hell out of me, and I'll tell you why. Because I've never met a guy or worked for a guy before who's so calm. He's the same guy every single day. Mood never changes. Some people are up, they're down, they're grumpy, they're crabby, they're this, that. Not Joe. He's the same guy every day. I've often wanted to set his pants on fire, just to see what he'd do. Maybe an idea for tomorrow morning. But he's a great top-notch radio guy. He's given me some new skill sets, too. Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate working with you. There have been so many people who have been kind to me and helped me along the way, too. Certainly other talent and news folks, production people, sales folks and engineers, promotions, clerical people. Your friendship has meant a lot to me over the years, and I thank you. To work with advertisers and to learn about their businesses was a real treat. Thank you for the trust you placed in me. And thanks to listeners, I've made so many great friends as listeners, sometimes just over the phone. And listeners are kind of like, well, what Google is today. I call them my vast research staff, because if you don't know the answer to the question, you can ask a question on the air within a minute. You got somebody on the phone who knows the answer, and sometimes an expert as well. So you were Google before there was Google. And of course, thanks to my family, my sons are here tonight, James and Daniel, and James' wife Irene is here as well. Thank you for all the material you provided me when you were growing up. They went to Catholic schools, everybody knew each other. The worst thing that can happen in our house is that if one of the teachers mentioned something I had mentioned about them in the radio in the morning. I was a real source of embarrassment. And I loved it. And to my wife of 43 years, Pat, I'm sorry for all the times we had to leave early because I had to work in the morning or places we couldn't go to. Thank you for VCRing and later DVRing all the programs I couldn't stay up and watch the end of with you. When I had my first radio job in Bradford, Pennsylvania, Pat got up my first morning and she made me a breakfast fit for a king. In the ensuing 42 years, I've never seen her at that hour in the morning again. And I don't blame you, I love you. You're a smart lady. And I want to let you know my best pal in the whole world is here tonight, my 9-year-old grandson, Will, who's back there. We have a lot of laughs together. And we go on some amazing adventures. I'm really proud of you. Radio has given me the chance to go places, to do things, to meet people that I ordinarily probably would never have the chance to do. From the bottom of my heart, thanks to the board and the members of the Buffalo Broadcasters Association for this nice honor tonight. The chance to say thanks to so many people as well. You made my life great. And thanks to you for being a part of an evening that I'll never forget. Thanks again. God bless you all.